Good evening and welcome. Thank you for tuning in to 6 p.m. Prime. I'm Pooja Shali. The Namaz versus Hanuman Chalisa face-off has returned, and this time at a posh mall in Lucknow. The question is, what is the need to randomly offer religious prayers at a place like that of a mall? And this time, the story coming in from Uttar Pradesh. Let's begin first with the headlines. Ajmer Dargah cleric Gohar Chishti, who raised Sar Tan Se Juda call threat against Nupur Sharma, has been now nabbed from Hyderabad. Cops are looking into the PFI link. A massive showdown ahead of monsoon session. Opposition slams no protest in Parliament notice, says nothing is going to stop them from protesting. Spiritual leader Dalai Lama sending a strong message to China amid this Ladakh visit, seeking meaningful autonomy and dialogue for Tibet, and says India and China should resolve differences through talks. It's a sensational twist to former Vice President Hamid Ansari's link to Pakistani spy Nusrat Mirza. Former jurist Adish Agarwal shares a photograph of Ansari and Mirza sharing a stage in 2009. BJP uses this and hits out at Hamid Ansari. Delhi police filed a charge sheet in Jahangirpuri violence. Provocative WhatsApp conversations revealing pre-planned conspiracy to spark unrest on 16th April. Sri Lanka Speaker announces resignation of President Gotabaya Rajapaksa, who fled to Singapore. Protesters are celebrating. A new president will be appointed on 22nd July.
These are the delicacies of Sri Lanka, called as the milk rice, and this is the way they are celebrating their former president Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation.
Namaz versus Hanuman Chalisa face-off has returned, and this time it is from Uttar Pradesh. On 10th of July, Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath inaugurated a posh, swanky Lulu Mall in Lucknow city. This was an investment expected around 2,000 crore rupees. Future projects in Varanasi, Prayagraj across the state, expected to deliver 15,000 direct and indirect jobs. Amid this, while this was a mega inauguration, curiously, a group of unknown people start to offer Islamic prayers in the general space inside the mall compound. When this video went viral, Hindu groups objected, asking how is this allowed, demanding that now they also be allowed to recite the Hanuman Chalisa inside the same mall. The issue is escalating, so the question will be, how will Yogi Adityanath ensure the focus remains on Uttar Pradesh becoming a tourist investment hub and not have law and order disturbed by anti-social elements? Take a look at this ground report and reactions coming in.
This video of people offering namaz inside the Lulu Mall in Lucknow has created a storm. After the video surfaced online, some members of the Akhil Bharatiya Hindu Mahasabha reached the gates of the mall and staged a protest. They filed a police complaint against the mall management and also sought permission from local authorities to recite Hanuman Chalisa inside the mall. The complaint says that namaz was offered inside the mall, which is against the state government's decision of not allowing namaz in public places. The complaint also alleged that 70% of the mall staff are men from the Muslim community, while the rest 30% are women from Hindu community. The Hindu Mahasabha accused the Lulu Mall of practicing love jihad with its recruitment policy.
यहाँ पर नमाजियों के लिए एक स्थान बना दिया गया है, जो कि उत्तर प्रदेश के पूर्व में दिए गए नियमों और आदेशों का सरासर उल्लंघन है। तो ये लुलु मॉल ना होकर के लुलु मस्जिद बन चुकी है।
The Lulu Mall authorities denied any link to people who offered namaz in the shopping complex. The mall has also filed a complaint regarding the incident.
हम सबका आदर करते हैं जो भी कस्टमर्स अंदर आते हैं, और बाकी हम किसी भी चीज़ की ऐसी अनुमति नहीं देते कि लोग इकट्ठा होकर किसी भी चीज़ की कोई प्रार्थना वगैरह हो।
इसमें मुकदमा दर्ज कर लिया गया है, क्योंकि लुलू प्रशासन खुद ही आगे बढ़ के आया है। उन्होंने मुकदमा दर्ज कराया कि किसी तरह का वहाँ धार्मिक एक्टिविटी का केंद्र नहीं है, वो बिजनेस सेंटर है, तो उन्होंने एफआईआर दर्ज किया है। इस तरह की कोई भी गतिविधि भविष्य में वहाँ नहीं होगी।
The BJP too has joined issue, with its MP Satish Gautam slamming the Namaz incident.
नहीं मान रहे, कुछ लोग मानसिकता से बीमार हैं और उस मानसिकता की बीमारी के कारण कुछ ऐसा कृत्य करते हैं। यह कृत्य नहीं करना चाहिए। भगवान का जहां नाम लेना है उसी जगह पे लीजिए। चौराहे पे बैठकर, गली में बैठकर, रोड पर बैठकर भगवान के नाम नहीं लिए जाते।
The mall was inaugurated by Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on Sunday. It is run by Abu Dhabi-based Lulu Group, owned by NRI billionaire M.A. Yusuf Ali. The administration has tightened security around the mall. The mall authorities have put up signboards against any religious prayers inside the mall. Bureau Report, India Today.
So how did this mega inauguration turn into and becoming a religious polarization flashpoint? Here's what happened. Let me take you through the background and a quick timeline of the events. It started on 10th of July. Yogi Adityanath himself, the UP Chief Minister, inaugurates this Lulu Mall, where the owner is of the Lulu International Group, specifically NRI based. Now, just a day after that, by June 12th, a video started to surface of Namaz prayers being offered inside, in the general space, the atrium area of the mall premises. What was the need? What was the requirement at that point? There was no clarity about who these people were. Hindu groups started to object about the namaz that is being offered inside the mall premises, and then they started to also file complaints. This built a pressure also on the management. They said, we want to also recite Hanuman Chalisa now. Amid all this, the management then clarified and filed an FIR over the namaz incident that took place, and also distanced themselves about who were these people offering prayers. Now what has happened is, since then, because the Hindu groups also challenged for reciting the Hanuman Chalisa, now a board has been put up. No religious prayers board has been put up within the mall compound, saying irrespective of your religious affiliation, no religious prayers or events will be right now taking place inside the mall. So where does it stand? Because Hindu groups were saying that by today evening, we will be right inside the mall to offer and recite the Hanuman Chalisa as well. Let's go across now to Lucknow city. My colleague Santosh Sharma has been reporting the latest on that. Santosh, did the Hindu groups come and recite the Hanuman Chalisa? Yogi Adityanath किस तरह से ensure कर रहे हैं कि ये इतना बड़ा जो मेगा inauguration था, investment plan था, ये disturb ना हो और ये polarization point ना बन जाए?
बिल्कुल ये पोलराइजेशन का पॉइंट न बन जाए, इसका पूरा इंतजाम किया गया। आज सुबह जब हिंदू महासभा के शिशिर चतुर्वेदी जो प्रवक्ता हैं, जिन्होंने ऐलान किया था कि आज शाम इसी लुलु मॉल में आकर के वो सुंदरकांड का पाठ करेंगे, उसके बाद से लुलु मॉल के जो प्रशासन है वो और स्थानीय जो लोकल पुलिस ऑफिशियल्स हैं, उन्होंने शिशिर चतुर्वेदी से बात की और उसके बाद जो सुंदरकांड के पाठ का जो ऐलान किया गया था उसको वापस लिया गया। लेकिन एक दूसरा संगठन हिंदू समाज पार्टी, जो कमलेश तिवारी जिनकी हत्या हुई थी, उनकी पत्नी किरण तिवारी के द्वारा ऐलान किया गया कि वो शाम को सुंदरकांड का पाठ करेंगे। लेकिन अभी हमारी जो लोकल पुलिस ऑफिशियल से बात हुई, उन्होंने साफ तौर पर कहा कि उन्होंने भी अपना जो कॉल था उसको विड्रॉ कर लिया है। यानी कि 22 लाख स्क्वायर फीट में फैला हुआ ये लुलु मॉल, जिसका उद्घाटन उत्तर प्रदेश के मुख्यमंत्री योगी आदित्यनाथ करते हैं, वहां पर एक विवाद, नमाज का एक वीडियो वायरल होने के बाद से पूरा खड़ा हो जाता है कि नमाज ऑफर करते हुए कुछ लड़कों के वीडियो सामने आता है, तो हिंदू संगठन कहते हैं कि अगर नमाज पढ़ी जाएगी तो वो सुंदरकांड का पाठ करेंगे। लेकिन लुलु मॉल के प्रशासन ने इस पूरे मामले को लेकर के सुशांत गोल्ड सिटी जो लोकल पुलिस स्टेशन है वहां पर FIR दर्ज कराई, एंड आफ्टर दैट लोकल जो लुलु मॉल के अंदर प्रेमाइसेस में किसी भी तरीके की रिलीजियस एक्टिविटीज,
संतोष, व्हाट अबाउट द फुटफॉल? आर विजिटर्स कमिंग टू द मॉल? क्या लोग दिख रहे हैं वहां पे, या इस कंट्रोवर्सी के चलते वहां पे फुटफॉल भी कम हो गया है?
फुटफॉल की अगर हम बात करते हैं तो हम तस्वीरें ही दिखाते हैं, लोगों में कहीं उत्साह की कमी नहीं है। वजह कि लुलु मॉल की जो नाम है उसको कहीं से इस जो विवाद की वजह से उनके ऊपर असर नहीं पड़ रहा है। लखनऊ वालों के लिए एक बड़ी सौगात है कि 22 लाख स्क्वायर फीट में फैला हुआ देश का जो सबसे बड़े मॉल में है वो लुलु मॉल है। यानी लखनऊ वाले इस बड़े मॉल को देखने के लिए आ रहे हैं तो उनको कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता कि यहां पर नमाज का विवाद है या सुंदरकांड का विवाद है। लोग बढ़ चढ़कर ले रहे हैं और जो कहा जाए कि हर तबके के लोग, जो लोअर मिडिल क्लास है, मिडिल क्लास है, अपर हायर क्लास है, जो लोग हैं लखनऊ के, इवन जो बाहर के जो विजिटर्स हैं, हम ये कह सकते हैं कि लुलु मॉल अब लखनऊ के विजिटर्स के लिए एक नया डेस्टिनेशन होगा। यहां पर जो अभी फुटफॉल की आप जो सवाल कर रहे थे कि फुटफॉल में क्या, तो मुझे अभी नजर नहीं आ रहा कि कहीं कोई कमी है, लेकिन हाँ इतना जरूर है कि इसके विवाद खड़ा हो जाने से कहीं ना कहीं लुलु मॉल को स्थिति का सामना करना पड़ा।
Very interesting, Santosh, what you're telling us, that visitors are definitely curious. Lucknow residents want to see which is this mega mall that has been inaugurated and opened in their city, but police personnel are deployed and the state administration and the mall management ensuring that no law and order situation arises over this religious polarization of Namaz versus the Hanuman Chalisa controversy that has erupted. For now, a board has been put up. No religious prayers allowed, permitted inside the mall. Santosh, thank you so much for tracking all the latest and bringing us this ground report from this Lucknow mall. Let's bring you another story. Remember, in the past few days, Ajmer Dargah cleric, a khadim, Gauhar Chishti, had raised a very controversial slogan, Sar Tan Se Juda, a threat call of beheading, a threat call made against Nupur Sharma. He has now been, after much uproar and backlash, has been taken into arrest in Hyderabad. The cleric in the video was seen raising provocative slogans at the premises of Ajmer Dargah. He was eventually caught by the Rajasthan police. The police had primarily taken cognizance of this speech and of course to all the outrage that had followed and registered a suo motu case against Gauhar Chishti. And after receiving a tip-off of information about his whereabouts, because he had suddenly gone missing, he was found all the way in Hyderabad, where a team of Ajmer police, a search team, was sent and then he was taken into arrest. Ajmer Superintendent of Police has said 5 people, including Gauhar Chishti, have been taken into custody for making provocative statements. Lately, remember, there have been disappointing statements coming in from the Dargah Khadims. Many clerics are raising provocative slogans, mentioning either it's against the country or even questioning the Hindu beliefs and even at an extent of mocking them.
चार लोगों को इस मुकदमे में पहले गिरफ्तार किया जा चुका है। इसके अलावा 5वां जो है गौर चिश्ती, उसको गिरफ्तार किया है और छठा जो इसको शरण देने वाला है मुनवर उर्फ एहसान उल्ला, उसको अभी है डिटेन किया हुआ है। अभी इसके बारे में इन्वेस्टिगेशन किया जा रहा है कि इनके आपस के अंदर क्या लिंक है, ये आपस में दोस्त हैं या मेहमान हैं, क्या है उसके।
So how has the Chishti family found themselves in eye of the storm? It's very interesting. Remember, it's an extended family that is one by one seen making controversial statements. In the center is Sarwar Chishti, an elderly senior member of the family. He seemed to be preaching peace, secularism, harmony and participating in Sadbhavna rallies, which is communal harmony, diversity rallies, took them across the state as well, appealing for peace. But what was happening around him was very disconcerting, because Gauhar Chishti was the one to make openly a threat call of anyone making provocative comments on Prophet or Islam. A beheading threat call was made by Gauhar Chishti. He's a distant nephew of Sarwar Chishti. And now, very interestingly, when Sarwar Chishti was questioned about it, he tried to distance himself. But the fact is, it is one family, and he did make that comment. He's now been taken into arrest. But it got more closer and more disappointing. His own son, Adil Chishti, a video went viral of him, again, with regard to the Nupur Sharma controversy and comments on the Prophet. He was mocking Hindu gods. And he was questioning Hindu beliefs and literally saying what is practical about this religion. This, remember, at a time when there was clearly such controversies, beheading and murders and threats that were taking place. The worst part is, Adil Chishti is absolutely unapologetic for his comments. Let me go across to my colleague Devankur Vadhavan, who's been tracking to and speaking to senior police officials. Dev, Ajmer Dargah Most of us have visited. When we visit that place, it attracts not only tourists but devotees from both Hindu and Muslim communities and even otherwise. Now, with these comments coming in, how is Gauhar Chishti's arrest being seen, and perhaps how are the senior clerics of the Dargah reacting to it?
Pooja, I can tell you that Sarwar Chishti, who is the uncle of Gauhar Chishti, he has already distanced himself from the arrest, and he claims that the family is not closely linked, in the sense he maintains that Gauhar Chishti is a distant relative of his. But the fact is, it's not just Gauhar Chishti. Even Sarwar Chishti, and as you mentioned, Adil Chishti was on record mocking Hindu gods. What seems to have happened is that they have been taken aback by the backlash which has happened because of those provocative statements. As I was telling you the other day, Pooja, the economy of the area around the Dargah, the Ajmer Sufi shrine, and remember it's an economy which runs into crores of rupees, has been extremely adversely affected because of these controversies, and the footfall has really reduced in the area which surrounds the Dargah premises. That is one fallout that has happened of this controversy. The other has been that the sword of arrest is also now dangling over the head of Sarwar Chishti. He can also be arrested, because remember, it's not just Gauhar Chishti, Pooja, who has made controversial or provocative statements. It is also Sarwar Chishti and his son Adil Chishti. The Sarwar Chishti has been prohibited from making provocative statements, and also, the police is now trying to find out whether
about
Gauhar
the police
Chishti
version here. How is this man seen all the way in Hyderabad? So that means search teams were sent. He was trying to flee away from the area, so he's never caught for making such a significantly dangerous call that, remember, has led also, as it appears, of similar calls of not condemning the death threats, only aggravating that. And we remember that the beheading came actually in Udaipur, in Rajasthan, of Kanhaiya Lal.
Oh, well, yes. In fact, if you look at the timeline, the remarks, the provocative sloganeering that happened inside the Dargah premises happened on June 17, and the beheading or the killing of Kanhaiya Lal took place on June 28. So for 11 days, what was the Ajmer police doing? Why was Gauhar Chishti not apprehended or detained or arrested earlier on? I can tell you what the latest situation right now in Ajmer is. I am standing outside the official residence of the Chief Judicial Magistrate, Pooja, and Gauhar can be brought in over here any time now. If the camera person pans the camera and shows you, there is police presence out here. The police has already been stationed out here, and Gauhar Chishti can be brought in out here so that the police can seek his remand, and thereafter, if the police gets the remand, then he can be probably subjected to intensive interrogation, because where was he all this while? Does he have PFI links? Does he have any links with the accused in the Udaipur case, that is Mohammad Riaz Atari and Ghaus Mohammed? So all of these are extremely relevant and important questions that the answers need to be found out, and that is what the Ajmer police will be attempting in the days to come.
Take a look closely on your screens. This is what parts of India are looking like right now. Navsari in Gujarat, Valsad, Itarsi, Chamoli in the hill states right now, in Rudraprayag, in Uttarakhand, one by one, whether it's Gujarat, Maharashtra, Telangana, Andhra Pradesh, Kerala, or our hill states of Uttarakhand, Himachal Pradesh, they are witnessing monsoon mayhem and flood fury. A lot of people are facing landslides, broken roads, stuck in flooded waters, and sadly there have been death toll also reported. While our rescue officials are on the job from the Indian Army, the Air Force, the NDRF, the SDRF and the local residents also ensuring that they are on the job with the state police to save as many lives as they can. Take a look at this ground report that we are bringing to you from across the country about the rainfall fury, and that from the monsoon and floods impacting people. Citizen lives, citizen voices on 6 PM Prime in this report.
Several states continue to be battered by incessant rain. Heavy rainfall has mounted trouble for people across the country. In Gujarat's Navsari, over 100 villagers are stuck in their homes for the last 5 days without food and water. Inundated villages completely cut off. A miraculous rescue operation was conducted by NDRF teams in Bhata village in Navsari. saving just in time women and children who were stuck.
पूरा का पूरा गांव डूबा हुआ है?
नहीं, मतलब जो साइडों में है वहाँ पे बहुत है, बीच में जो रोड है वहाँ पे थोड़ा सा।
अच्छा, केवी परिस्थिति है?
वो पानी अंदर आ गया था, पानी।
अच्छा,
घर के अंदर।
बाकी सब बाहर निकल गए? कुछ खाए?
मम्मी वहाँ पे ही है,
पापा मम्मी वहाँ पे ही है, उनको भी निकाल देंगे जल्दी। खाना पीना कुछ हुआ है?
नहीं।
So far, 80 lives have been lost in the floods in Gujarat. Time is running out and rescue teams have to reach submerged houses across villages to save those still trapped.
एनडीआरएफ की तमाम टीमें इस वक्त नवसारी में मौजूद है और हमारे साथ उनके सीनियर ऑफिसर एसके गुर्जर जी मौजूद है। उनसे भी हम बात करेंगे। एसके गुर्जर सर, हमें बताइए कि कहां इस वक्त हम फिलहाल जा रहे हैं और कितने लोग फंसे हुए?
यहाँ हम लोग कमलथा भाटा विलेज है जो कि यहाँ गण देवी तहसील में आता है। नवसारी में लगातार हम लोग 3 दिन से रेस्क्यू ऑपरेशन कर रहे हैं। तो यहाँ कुछ लोगों के फंसे होने की अभी भी लोग गांव में फंसे हैं जहाँ लो लाइन एरियाज में पानी भरा हुआ है। उनको निकालने के लिए 6 एनडीआरएफ की टीम आपके साथ में जा रही है।
कितना डिफिकल्ट हो रहा है क्योंकि हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि बहुत ही ज्यादा मुश्किल भरा ये पूरा रास्ता।
हाँ, यहाँ क्या है, थोड़ा हार्डल्स हैं और चारों तरफ उस तरीके की कंडीशंस नहीं है कि लोगों को निकाल पाएं, लेकिन फिर भी हम लोग कोशिश करेंगे कि सभी लोगों को सुरक्षित निकाल पाएंगे।
कल जो पानी भरा हुआ था मेरे लाइफ में मैंने भी पहली बार देखा है, लेकिन हमारी अभी फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी है लोगों की जिंदगी बचनी चाहिए। इसलिए फायर ब्रिगेड वाले और एनडीआरएफ वाले के सपोर्ट से हम पूरी तरह से बाहर निकाल रहे हैं और ऊपर वाले की कृपा भी है, पानी अभी कम हो गया है, हम सभी को बाहर निकाल लेंगे। यही हमारी फर्स्ट प्रायोरिटी है। जो भी नुकसानी है वो तो सरकार उनके पीछे सब कुछ करेगी, लेकिन जिंदगी बच जाएगी, यही हमारी अभी भगवान को प्रार्थना है।
A red alert has also been issued in 8 districts of Gujarat, including Valsad, which is the worst affected.
The monsoon madness does not seem to have died down. We are currently at the Tithal beach in Valsad, and if we can move around and show you a little bit that the sea continues to rage on wildly and signs of a storm seem to be appearing. There has been no respite for the people of the state of Gujarat and several parts of India.
Not just civilians, but livestock and crops have also been largely affected, with 100 tons of grains completely destroyed after water entered shops and caused heavy losses.
सर, आपसे समझना चाहूँगा कि ये आपकी दुकान है, यहाँ पर एग्जैक्टली क्या हुआ था और किस तरह का नुकसान हुआ है?
सर, वो औरंगा नदी है, वहाँ पानी भर गया था, उसका सब पानी इधर छिटपड़ में आ गया और इधर हर एक दुकान में 6-6, 8-8 फीट पानी भर गया। तो टोटल माल है उसका 50% डैमेज हो गया। यहाँ शायद 100 से 150 होलसेलर अनाज के व्यापारी है, तो सबको पूरा लॉस हुआ।
In Madhya Pradesh's Itarsi, heavy rainfall resulted in waterlogged streets. Cars were submerged, causing massive inconvenience and scare among local residents. In Andhra Pradesh, bride Prashanti's big day featured an unexpected entry to the groom Ashok's house. She had to use a boat to cross flooded areas and start her new journey safely. Meanwhile, amidst death and devastation, there was also a miracle rescue. In Telangana's Peddapalli district, a 3-month-old baby was rescued, placed in a basket, while the family waded through chest-high waters to reach a safe location. Govind Ghat and Lambagar area of Uttarakhand's Chamoli district have witnessed several incidents of landslides recently. Devotees who reached Badrinath are relieved but in shock after watching accidents and surviving landslides en route their journey.
The entirety of the Badrinath route right after Rudraprayag up till Lambagar is that you would see more landslides like this one, and now the administration is in action ensuring that the blockade from the roads are removed and the locals as well as the tourists and devotees get safe passage in this particular area.
Monsoon mayhem leaves many questions to be answered. How much of the natural disaster is man-made because of poor planning and illegal constructions? With Saurav Vaktania from Navsari, Gujarat, Dev Kotak from Valsad, Gujarat, and Amit Bharadwaj from Chamoli, Uttarakhand. Bureau Report, India Today.
Abdul Bashir is in Telangana, where parts of it are facing red alert, while Ajmer Dargah is in Badrinath in the hill state of Uttarakhand. Let's come to you first, Amit, because you're speaking to couples, you're speaking to people who have managed to reach women and children, but en route they saw landslide. They witnessed accidents, and they basically feel that they have reached Badrinath while surviving all of this. What are local residents telling you, and what do you yourself saw in Uttarakhand? Is it still raining in the state right now?
Well, Pooja, you know, there's a sug of relief for people of Uttarakhand right now. But last evening, the rain in Chamoli district started quite early. Because usually in Chamoli, what you see, it is the night when the rain happens. But yesterday, the rain had started by 6 p.m. in the evening. And the local residents were quite worried about that pattern. And when we left Badrinath in the morning, we saw that they were absolutely correct when they were worried about the early rain in the evening yesterday. What we saw on our way back from Badrinath is multiple landslide sites, one big protection wall right after the Badrinath towards Joshimath had fallen down at Govind Ghat. We saw multiple landslides in Lambagarh yet again. Yesterday in the night, the landslide has started in Lambagarh's critical patch, and that continued till 7 in the morning today, and the administration were able to restore the traffic by 7:30 or 8 in the morning. And now there's another concern which is right there, on people's mind right here, because if you look at the Alaknanda river, I'll ask Deepak to show you the visuals. Alaknanda is already in a big force right now, and now the IMD has issued fresh alerts. As per the IMD's latest alert, 19th of July is going to be a red alert day for Uttarakhand's Kumaon region as well as Garhwal region adjoining districts, which includes Chamoli. So this Alaknanda river, which is just 2 meters below the danger mark right now, there will be possibilities that the level of the Alaknanda river will increase,
so
and
advisory
there,
already being given
problems might just unfold along
if you're traveling to Uttarakhand, to take all possible precautions, because the Alaknanda river also right now is flowing close to dangerous levels. Let's go across now to Telangana. Amit, stay on with me, because in Telangana, Abdul Bashir has been going inside villages, flooded areas, talking to locals who are trapped and have managed to now be rescued. Abdul Bashir, where are you right now? What is the situation that you see around you in Telangana? Is it still under red alert?
See, as far as the Telangana is concerned, right now I am in the temple town of Bhadrachalam, where you can see how the houses are inundated in water. These floods that have been brought by the Godavari river has taken up more than hundreds of houses under its control. All these houses are under water. More than 600 to 700 families right now at this town, at approximately a 500-meter radius, are under rehabilitation centers. So this area you can see, let me show you that Godavari river flow that you can see from here, how dangerous it looks from here when it comes to the rise of level, where 53 feet was the third level warning given by the authorities, but now the water is going on at a level of 70.5 feet. That is a huge number that we can see, a huge rise of water level that we can see, and the level of water is still increasing. Many houses are still one by one coming under the control of this flood water. Right now where I am standing, surrounding me are completely houses are completely underwater, inundated in water. You can see 8 to 9 feet of water right beside me in the lanes here, and also how the houses and huts are underwater now. So people are very much worried about this situation. All the roads leading outside the Bhadrachalam town have been closed. 144 section have been imposed. State Disaster Response Force and also the NDRF teams are working on to rescue more people out here. You can see there is no rain. There is no rain here in the city since morning, but yet the rising water level is bringing a disastrous situation in the town of Bhadrachalam. So here you can see how the effect of this river flow can be, where more than 24 lakh cusecs of water inflow that is coming from the upper catchment areas, that is from the state of Maharashtra, is leading to the floods at the banks of river Godavari.
It's absolutely
so this
tragic
is
what you're
Subhash
showing
Nagar,
to us,
right,
Bashir, that, even first floors have been completely inundated. These are colonies after colonies that have been completely flooded by the rainwater, and people would most likely have to take shelter on their rooftop. Thank you so much, Abdul Bashir, Amit Bhardwaj, for being the ground reporters that you need to be and going out into those locations and bringing us these reports. Thank you very much. For now, rescue operations are on, but clearly a lot of people are suffering as well. Now, amid all this grim news around us, let me bring you now a positive news about good human beings, a reminder we all need. In Thailand, a mother elephant had fainted in stress after her calf was stuck in a mud pit drain amid non-stop rainfall. She was unable to bring him back up. She had fainted. Rescue officials jumped in at this national park in Thailand. On one side, they brought the calf out, but also went into panic, realizing the emergency with the mother, immediately did a CPR on her. But then came a special visual. Take a look of how this CPR was done. The child was brought out, but the elephant mother then gained consciousness, the calf rushing to her, and they went into the wild like nothing happened. Now, amid all this, remember when both of them were all back hale and hearty and went out after she gained consciousness after that CPR. It was the smile of the rescue personnel that reminds of the good we are all capable of, saving, helping voiceless animals. A story bound to melt every heart. Sri Lankan President Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation has formally now been accepted. Until the new president is chosen, Lankan Prime Minister will function in the capacity of the president. He was sworn in as the acting president by the Chief Justice Jayanta Jayasuriya. Lankan Speaker Mahinda Yapa Abhaivardhana has made formal announcement confirming this resignation. Gotabaya has legally resigned, I quote them here, with effect from Thursday. I have accepted the resignation. This was a confirmation coming in from the Sri Lankan speaker. But Rajapaksa mailed in his resignation from Singapore after flying to the city and the state from the Maldives. Abhaivardhana has now kicked off the constitutional procedure of appointing a new president. There are three main front runners. Also, while you look at these visuals on your screen, Lankan Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe, who is one of the front runners. Apart from him, there is also opposition leader Sajith Premadasa. He's a senior lawmaker, ruling party member. Also, Dulas Alaha Peruma will also be a front runner. So we are looking at least three names here who could be the next president of Sri Lanka. Remember, it's not just about changing names. It's also about who will revive the economy and end the crisis in Sri Lanka. My colleague Pramod Madhav is on the ground getting all the latest with voices and how the people of Sri Lanka reacted to this resignation of Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Take a look.
Celebration of Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation begins. Distribution of Sri Lanka is one of the important delicacies called as milk rice that you could see over here. Volunteers have brought this milk rice into the place, the venue of the presidential secretariat, and they have brought it over here to be distributed to the public as well. Very neatly done from their home, and they're bringing it over here. These are the volunteers that have brought it in. And just like mentioned earlier, Gotabaya Rajapaksa was to have resigned on 13th, but it took 2 more days, and finally the speaker had announced that Gotabaya Rajapaksa has resigned. And as a mode of celebration, here you see the people who have brought in milk rice along, and they are trying to move here. Opposite to this end, you have the military personnel as well, but here it is a kind of distribution, a celebration, and they are even trying to walk past the military personnel over here. They are being stopped, but at the same time, they just want to cut it here and give it to the public. This is a form of celebration to celebrate Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation, and here it is being distributed to the public at this point over here. And these are the public people who've been protesting here for several days and it turned out to be 98 days. And here you could see it's also being given to the people who are standing over here, especially the military over there. And this way they are finally celebrating it. The protesters are handing over the milk rice to the military, who are a bit hesitant currently to see if they can take it. But they have the protesters are urging the military to accept the milk rice over here, and that way they are celebrating it. These are the delicacies of Sri Lanka called as milk rice, and this is the way they are celebrating their former president Gotabaya Rajapaksa's resignation. At the presidential secretariat as we speak, the last place where the protesters are still holding up until everything comes back to normalcy. From Colombo, Pramod Madhav, for India Today.
Well, Sri Lanka may see ease in the situation as the political crisis is almost on the verge of being resolved. There will be a new government soon, within a week, new president, new prime minister. But what is the situation on the ground when it comes to the economic crisis? Well, the images right behind me at such petrol pumps explains the fury and why the people were furious for almost 6 months. Almost all these petrol stations, gas stations, either being guarded by army, the Air Force Jawans, or even at some petrol pumps you can see the Navy commandos also. Because the fuel shortage continues, the cooking gas shortage continues, and whenever the supplies comes, you will see the huge queues of the vehicles, be it the commercial vehicles or the private vehicles. And many petrol stations, the queues are even more than a couple of kilometers. That is the situation at ground zero in Colombo, and that perhaps may take time to get this situation better. In Colombo, with Sanjay Kumar, I'm Ashutosh Mishra for India Today.
So amid these massive protests and also sort of a cheer now after Rajapaksa's resignation, Gotabaya Rajapaksa resigned finally as the president after outrage. But he sent this resignation after he had fled to Singapore and in safe confines of another nation. But what really became much worse was Gotabaya was seen shopping at a duty-free shop at the Changi airport in Singapore. This, remember, is while his homeland is burning from economic and political turmoil. And this visual also has sent a lot of outrage amid the Sri Lankan civilians who are right now on ground suffering and not availability of food or fuel around them. Here's more in this report.
First images of Gotabaya Rajapaksa after fleeing Sri Lanka. The 73-year-old was spotted shopping with his wife at a duty-free shop in Singapore's Changi airport. Gotabaya could reportedly fly to Saudi Arabia from Singapore. Singapore government has clarified that the Lankan leader has been allowed to enter the country on a private visit and he has not sought asylum. After safely making his way from Maldives to Singapore, Gotabaya sent his resignation letter through an email to Lankan Parliament Speaker on Thursday. The Speaker is expected to call the Parliament to meet in 3 days. The resignation of Gotabaya triggered celebrations in Sri Lanka. People were seen dancing at Colombo's Galle Face Park. Having laid siege to the presidential palace, Prime Minister's office and the Secretariat for over 6 days, protesters have agreed to hand them over to authorities. The political turmoil may get resolved soon, but the economic crisis continues to deepen.
Cooking gas is something really very essential, but because of the supplies worst affected for next month, be it the petrol, be it the diesel or the cooking gas, every day these women are forced to queue in line facing the heat and the humidity. When supply is affected, their kitchen affected, their families affected, and that has forced them to hit the street against the government.
Tourism, the mainstay of Lankan economy, is badly hit. The economy on the whole has tanked. The supply of essential goods is disrupted. Gotabaya's successor will have many hurdles to negotiate. With Ashutosh Mishra and Pramod Madhav in Colombo, Bureau Report India Today.